Okay, if I was going to do a vacation budget, here are some of the things I would need. I would need an item column where I can put all of the items that I'm going to spend money on. I'm going to need a description column because some of those items are going to bear some explanation. Let's start listing some of the items. So I'm going to have airfare or airline tickets. If I'm going to Disneyland, I'm going to have Disneyland tickets. Okay. I'm going to probably have a hotel, and there's going to be some sort of food budget. And let's see, what else do we need? There's going to be some kind of ground transportation, whether or not I Uber, Lyft, rental car, shuttle bus, I don't know. Ground transportation of some kind. And then what else? Some kind of entertainment budget. And the reason, here's a good example of why entertainment. Okay, here's a good example of why we need the description, because, well, what's an entertainment budget if we're already going to Disneyland? That could be things like souvenirs. If there are additional events, there could be event tickets. Maybe I go to a concert or an Angels game, and anything else that comes up for the sake of entertaining ourselves while we're on vacation. The airline tickets, under description, I could put round trip, PDX to LAX and Southwest. Let's say that's the airline we're flying. Okay, so this next column, we can add other things if we need to, but this next column would be something like quantity. How many of each of these things are we going to need? If we're getting a rental car, let's say we're getting a rental car. Then how many days are we getting the rental car? Well, if we're going to Disneyland for 2 days and we're traveling on a day before that and after that, then we're probably going to need a rental car for 4 days total. So I'm going to go ahead and put 4 in quantity. Now, airline tickets, if we're getting a round trip ticket, there's not going to be 2 tickets, there's just going to be 1 round trip fare. So we're going to put 1 in there. Disneyland tickets, I think we're going to be able to get 1 2-day ticket. 1 ticket that'll cover 2 days. In fact, we'll say that right now. It'll be a 2-day park hopper. So we'll get to go to both parks both days. And I believe let's start putting in let's put in an income column. That's money that we're going to receive. And let's put an expense column, and that's money. That's where most of these things are going to end up. In fact, all the ones we've listed so far, the expense column is how much it costs. It's going to cost me. And then I'm going to add one more. I'm going to say total expense. So there's going to be an expense per item, but then as we multiply it by the quantity, we'll get a total expense. So in the case of the airfare, let's assume that it's going to be $250. So if we go to the total expense column, we have to buy 1 round-trip airline ticket for $250. So that's $250 one time. In this column, I'm going to type in an equal sign. And Google already is guessing what I want to do here. You can see it's saying E2 times C2. Well, that's correct. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to take what's in C2 and multiply it by E2. So we're going to hit return, and we're going to get $250. Now, to duplicate not the 250, but the actual formula in that cell and use it in the next rows 3 through 7, all I have to do is grab this little blue handle and drag it down, and boom, it extends the formula all the way down. So now where this one is E2 times C2, this one is actually, and I'll zoom in here see if you can see that better. E3 times C3. Okay, so let's put in some other quantities. So the expenses. So the Disneyland ticket is actually going to cost us $290 for a 2-day park hopper ticket. The hotel, we're going to stay 3 nights, and it's going to cost $197 a night. You see that? Because the formula is already in there, the math works out. Even though it's $197 a night, I multiplied it by the quantity of 3, and it's $591 total. All right, so our food budget. I did that on the food column. Oh no, food is 4 days. So let's say we're going to spend $10 on breakfast and $20 on lunch, $40 on dinner, and $20 a day on snacks. Okay, so if I were to add those up in my head, 10 plus 20 is 30, plus 40 is 70, plus another 20 is 90. That's a $90 a day. I'm going to just say 90 per day. Okay, I'm going to put that expense over here, 90. So that means for 4 days at those numbers, I'm going to spend $360. All right, same thing for a rental car. I need 4 days, and the rental car is going to, I think I can get a cheap rental car for $40 a day. We're also going to need gas, though, for that rental car. I bet you we're going to have to fill up at least twice, and I bet you it'll be $50 each time we fill up. So you also have to return the rental car full, so we'll have to do that. Okay, the entertainment budget. Now, it can be pretty expensive at Disneyland. If we want souvenirs, if I said 2 days, right? Oh, well, I'm going to be actually on my trip for 4 days, so I'm going to budget per day, although the days in Disneyland are probably going to cost me more. But let's say I budget $50 a day. That means a total budget for the whole trip of $200 for those entertainment expenses. Now, the last thing I need to put in here is my travel budget that I've saved. I've saved over a year or two. I've saved, call this travel fund, saved $2,000. Okay, so I'm just going to put that over here. I don't need a quantity. I just have $2,000 that I saved. Okay. The next thing I want to do, I want to make a totals row. Okay, and then I'm going to actually change the color by selecting this whole row and then going up here to color. I'm going to change the color of that first row, and I'm going to make the text bold. I really want that to stand out as my header row, and I might even center. Yeah, let's go ahead and center that, each of those headings. All right, and then the totals row, I think I'm gonna make that row a color as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the sum of all of my expenses and my income. So what I'll do is I'll put where I want the total to go. I'll select that cell, and then I'll go up here to the 3 dots, and I'll use this functions menu, and I'm going to choose the sum function because that's going to add up everything and give me one total. So I'm just going to select all the rows I want it to add, and there's my grand total, 1,951. Now I want to copy this over, so I'm just going to grab that blue handle and drag it over. We don't actually need this column, so I'll just delete that. So my total income over here in this column is 2,000. My total expense is 1,951, and I'm going to do one more row here called over or under budget. Okay, and in this row I'm just going to type an equal sign. I'm going to choose the total income, and see when I click on that cell it actually fills in D10 for me. Then I'm going to use a minus sign because I'm going to subtract the total expenses, which are in F10, and I'm going to hit enter, and that gives me $49. Now let me go ahead and make that a little bit bigger so it visually stands out, and I'll probably bold it too. Now the other thing I could do, let's say I go over budget. Okay, so let's say my hotel is actually $250 a night. Well, now I have a negative number. I'm over budget. It says negative 110. So just to make that easier to read, if I'm using this budget to calculate out all the costs I'm going to have and whether or not I can afford it, I might want to use some conditional formatting in this cell so that anytime that number goes down below 0, it gives me a red, it paints that cell red, and so I know, oh no, stop, you've gone over budget. So I'm going to go up here to Format and down to Conditional Formatting, and I'm going to say under Formatting Rules, I already have the cell selected, I'll just say if what's in this cell is less than, and then I'm going to put in a value of 0, then the formatting style is going to change to red. Okay, I'm going to click Done, and you'll notice if I close this window that it's red right now. But if I was able to find, so I go up to my hotel, I can't really change, maybe I can't change the airline ticket or the Disneyland tickets, but if I can find a cheaper hotel and get it for $190 a night, including taxes and fees, then, oh, look at that, I now have $70 left over. So that's how you do a basic balance sheet. This one's called travel budget, but yours is going to be called monthly budget. And instead of the items that I've listed here, like airline tickets and Disneyland tickets, I want you to list things like rent and Netflix and car insurance and your paycheck. What are the income and expenses that you'd have living on your own for the very first time on a regular monthly basis? Not furniture that you'd buy and live with in your house, but things that you would pay for every month. Water, Hulu, all those recurring bills. Come up with your own budget and then turn in the Google spreadsheet on the Canvas assignment.